Hey guys, this is E with Scrapbooking with Me, and today we're going to make a journal cover using a large envelope. This is just a junk mail envelope. It's those large ones. This is 6 inches by 9 1/4, so that's a good size. And remember, I normally make my covers 9 inches by 6 or a little bit over, so this is going to be perfect size for a single signature. Now, I have started on this one, but I'm going to show you exactly how I got up to that point. So just take your junk mail envelope, and I go ahead, and you could open them up on the end, but I have found if I try to open them by slitting down that little crease there, I end up getting a little crooked. So I just go ahead and take a tiny little sliver off on each end. You've got 1/4 inch there to play with, really, so just take a little sliver off. Then you have this opened up. Now this one has a little crack here, but don't worry about that. We're going to put some material down through the middle anyway to make this stronger so we can stitch our signature in it. This is just thin paper, so you are going to need to put a thick paper on it or either cover it with maybe something else, another piece of thin paper, and then put your regular paper or material fabric on the top of that. So you're going to need to strengthen it a little bit, in other words. Now, any place that you see these little pieces popped up, of course you could pull those off, but to me this strengthens it, so I'm not going to pull any of that off. I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to glue all of those down well. Don't want those coming apart. And if you have one that has, this one had actually been slit at the flap, but if you have one that has the flap open, you can just go ahead and glue that down like that. Now I'm going to take this to my trimmer, and I'm going to trim just a tiny bit off right here. And the reason I'm going to do that is this is a little bit crooked where it was opened up, so I'm just going to trim it. You could try to fold it back, but you don't have a lot of room here to play with. So I'm just going to trim it off, and then we'll reinforce that. And I'll show you how we do that. Now I am going to trim the slightest bit, just as a tiny, tiny bit, just to even it up is all I'm doing that for. Don't want it to be any smaller. I just want to even that end up. Okay, now we have this. Yep, that will work. And we're going to leave our window open. We're going to use that. Now I'm going to take a piece of fabric and put right down the middle here. And I just have some of this fabric that pulled off the selvage of some fabric. This is like the piece that you can't really use before they start the print. So I use it for things like this and for little tag toppers, that kind of thing. It's just some cotton fabric. And you could use Tyvek in here if you wanted to. Or you could use washi, anything that's going to strengthen this little spine. And I use Fabri-Tac to put my fabric down. And then you're just going to run your fabric right down the middle, as close to the middle as you can get. Press that down, and if you've got any pieces that are a little bit loose, you can go ahead and glue those. You don't have to have it all the way glued down if you don't want to. Oops. I got a big glue glob right there. All right, that's going to strengthen it so that this won't tear out when we punch our holes. Now you can put a piece on the outside too if you want, but I think I'll run paper across there, so I'm not going to worry about that right now. Now, what are we going to start with? I want to start by covering the front, and the reason I do is because once I cover the front, I'll kind of know what I'm going to put in the middle and what I'm going to put here in my window. So we're just going to grab some paper, And I am using, let me grab it. I'm using the sunflower collection that we have in the store. It's beautiful paper. So I'm going to use this, and I think I want this one to be on the front. I want as many of, or as much of this as I can get. So I think I'll pull that down that way. And this will be like collaging on the front. So just decide about where you want everything to fall. Okay. I think that right there is good. So I'm just going to mark the bottom of where my envelope is, and then I'm going to cut it off about right there, I think. And I'll probably just tear mine. You could always cut it, but sometimes I find that tearing's a lot easier for me. But you can put it back in your trimmer and do some trimming. Let's see. It doesn't look very straight, so let's straighten it up a little bit. There we go. Okay, we're going to save that piece back. Now, I am not going to cut all the way across this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mark on this side where I need to stop. And I'm going to pull that over just a little bit because I want to give myself room to wrap this around just a little bit. That should work right there. And I didn't on the other one, but I think I will on this one. Give myself a little bit extra room, and I'm going to wrap this side around too. That'll strengthen that envelope. I strengthened my other one, but I added some paper after I trimmed it. But on this one, we're going to try to do it all in one whack. There we go. Now we got a nice size that we can use probably in the middle, inside. Then we can tear this one off. And all I'm doing is lining it up on my grid. Oops. Trying not to let my hand slip. Oh, I started to say, I cut it too little, but I had it turned the wrong way, didn't I? Okay, so I'm going to put that there. Now, I do need to come down a little bit on my piece here, where the window is. So I'm going to sit that in there and just see about how far I need to come down. Okay, I'm going to tear out just a little bit right here, and this is not going to be perfect, but it's okay. Just going to tear out a little bit. This is just going to give me room. Turn it the right way. This is just going to give me room right here on this bottom part. Like I said, it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be okay. I'm going to fold that back for now to see what we got first. Okay, that will work. Fold this one back up a little bit. Don't mind if it goes a little bit up over the window. That works right there. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and glue this, but before I do, I'm going to bring my ink in, and I'm going to ink around this window. Don't worry about getting the ink on the window, on the plastic, because we can wipe that off. This is just so, ooh, look, I tore that one. Good thing we're going to reinforce it. This is just in case your paper doesn't cover every little bit of it. Okay, so we've got a little tear right here. I'm going to go ahead and do some reinforcing there before I go any further. I'm just opening up a little envelope, and I tore off a little piece. This is going to be covered with decorative paper, so I'm not going to be concerned with what this looks like right now. Just want to get some reinforcement going there since I tore it. Just like putting a Band-Aid on. Just try to get it as straight as you can. That's the main thing. There we go. So that'll work, and we'll reinforce the inside as we go along, so that's gonna be fine. Now we'll go ahead and put our glue down here. I'm just gonna fold that little piece under. There again, more strength, and I don't have to worry about if I tear it perfectly straight. Alright, there we go with that. Now I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to trim off this bottom first. Got a little bit off, and that's fine. We can always trim. I'm going to take my little score tool and run right down the side or the end of that envelope there. That way I can fold this little piece over without folding my envelope in with it, since that envelope is so thin. So if I just tried to fold it, I would probably catch part of my envelope in there, and that wouldn't work. Now let's cut a little bit of that off, because we don't want that showing on the outside. And press that seam really well there. Okay. Alright, we got that glued down. That's nice and reinforced. I like that. Now, this one, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to reinforce it. And if you don't choose to do this, if you had rather use something else when you finish this, that's fine. Don't worry about putting this little piece around there. But I'm going to go ahead and do it now. And I'll probably put lace on top of this too, so this is just going to be added extra strength. We don't want this falling apart when we get it made. Okay. There we go. Now, of course, we'll need a piece up here, but we'll get to that. Now, I just did something that I tell everybody else not to do, and I did it myself. Don't put this down with the envelope folded, because if you do, when you open it up, you're going to have this big puffy seam right there. So I actually pull mine up, and now I'm putting it back down. You can fold it after everything dries. If you do that, if you fold it and then put your little piece down, when you open it up, it's not going to lay flat. You're going to have that little puffy seam, is what I call it. It puffs up there. So we're going to do that. And this is going to be covered with material anyway, so don't worry about it if it don't look exactly like you want it. There we go. And then we will put our extra piece here when we cover this. So let's decide. That's too narrow. I don't want it to look like I'm trying to match it. So I want to put a piece on there that really looks like that I didn't even intend for it to match. Okay, we're going to cut it right there, and then right here. Yeah, if you try to put your flowers together and it doesn't match up, it's gonna look a little strange. So it's better to just not even try to match it, as it is to try to match it and then make it look like you're trying to match it, if that makes any sense at all. It might not make any sense at all. Okay, we're going to tear the bottom, because when you're collaging these, it looks a lot better if the pieces are torn and just kind of laid over each other than it does if they're straight and you try to put it together like that. So I just kind of lay the torn one over the other one, And don't ink this part right here, because we'll put a tag or something there that'll bring that together. If you ink this bottom part, then you're going to be able to tell that, oh, there's a seam there and they tried to doctor it up. These are just some little tidbits that I've learned along the way. Hopefully it'll help you. I hope. Let's see. Put a little ink on the inside though. We do want that to have a little ink on it. And if you don't ink, that's fine. You don't have to. I try to tell you that every time, because I always have people that say, but I don't like to ink. And I'll say, okay, you don't have to. And then I've had people, when I stitch, they'll say, I don't like to stitch, or I don't have a sewing machine. Do I have to stitch in order to make a journal? No, you do not. I made journals many years before I ever started stitching. So you do not have to do either one. This is just my preference and how I like to do mine. But you do not have to. You can make it strictly out of glue if you want to. Alright, now we need a piece over here. And I think I'll come in with that piece, like that. I'm going to flip it over from what it actually looks supposed to be. Tear this side. Then we'll flip it like that. And then I need to tear it. Don't need to tear much because I don't want it to show through my window on the inside there. Yeah, that'll work. Now again, I'm going to put some ink on the inside. This is just casing in my window there. Okay, I think I have enough to fold over here. So again, I'm just going to crease it with my tool. And then I'm just going to cut this top little piece off because I will reinforce that when I go the other direction. Okay. Let's see if we can fold that without bending that envelope edge. Now the other one, like I said, I did not do all of this reinforcing like this. This is not something you have to do. I just like for my journals to be real strong. So that's why I do. And I went in on the other one and reinforced on the inside with just some scrap paper. But if you can have it all cut at one time and reinforce it as you go, just makes it a little bit easier. And any of that that's glued right at that window is going to have to definitely be pressed down good because it doesn't like to glue to that plastic. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now let's go ahead and put this little piece on the top and we'll have that finished. And we can just go with that piece right there. And I'm just going to tear it about in half. This way we don't waste a lot of paper. Okay, we'll tear it off right there. Okay, that looks good. Tear it off just a little bit more. Okay, that's good. Alright, erase my pencil mark that's there. And then on this one, again, we're going to ink that inside edge. It's going around our window. And then we'll put that down just like that. And then here's where we will reinforce this top. Just go ahead and run your little bone folder or tool like that down. Then just fold that over. Okay, don't worry about getting glue on the plastic. You can always wipe that up with a baby wipe. Okay, so there we go with that. Now let's clean up our plastic here. Or acetate, whatever you want to call it. To me, this is more like plastic. Ooh, got a lot of that off. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, so we've got that done, and I'm still going to wait for this to dry more before I fold that. Now we come to the inside. The tag that we make is what's going to show through the window, so I'll show you what I made for the other one. I made a tall pocket for this one that will go right here, and then you'll have a tall tag that puts in it. And I put this on this side because if you put it on this side, then this side inside's going to be plain. So when we slip our tag down in here, we'll have a flower or something on our tag that will show through to the outside. So our tag will be what shows on this part. Now I need a little bit more paper right there because I didn't quite get that piece wide enough. I need to make sure that it's covered up. Okay, that will work. See what this little bit right there was going to show if I hadn't have covered it, so we're just going to do it like that. Now this, you can't bring it all the way over here if you do. I didn't make this wide enough, but make yours a little bit wider. I made this actually before I even thought about doing this part. So we're going to bring it to about right there, I think. Let's see. That still shows on the outside. No, I think that'll work right there. Now I made a pocket that has the little flaps on the edges because I wanted this to not be such a tight pocket. So this will be kind of a little stand-up pocket. And I'm going to go ahead and put a little piece down through here too, just because if I need to slide that pocket over, I won't have this envelope showing. You just need to cut yours a little bit bigger than what I did. So depending on what size window you have, just cut it about 1/2 inch wider on each side than your window. That way you don't have to worry about if it's going to show through or not to the other side. Okay. Now I know this seems like a lot of piecing, and like I said, I didn't have to do this in the other one, but this one was a little bit afterthought as far as putting the reinforcements on the back here. So, and I didn't get my little envelope here cut too small, or this is not an envelope, piece of paper cut too small. Now, that will work. See, nobody will be the wiser if I have to move that over. We've got that covered. So I want to see where I need to put it, and then I'll mark it with my pencil. And that should work right there. Now, one more time I check before I glue. Yep. Okay. So we'll go ahead, let's see. You know what, I think I'll put the paper down here before I glue that down. Just because I want to make sure I get this covered. Okay, it's too short for that, but it'll work here. Now, you definitely don't want this to come out wider than that. And it can be a flat piece. You don't have to tear this one for the inside, because you don't want this piece showing on the outside. It's okay for the outside piece to show on the inside, but not the other way around. I tell you what, they're doing the last of their painting and the last of their sanding in this house, and it is about to get me and Mr. Whit. I have coughed and coughed and coughed with all this dust and stuff, even though they clean up really well after their self, but I have just coughed and coughed, and he has too. I think part of it is allergies because the time of year it is, but I also think a lot of it is the dust, because I can wipe off the stove or something at 1 minute and 30 minutes later it's coated with dust again. So I'm looking for cleaners that can, professional cleaners that can come out and do some cleaning for me. When they should finish their painting tomorrow. And all the sheetrock should be done. As far as the little patch up and all that. So I'm looking for some cleaners to come out and actually do some heavy duty cleaning. Where they, you know, they have the big machines and everything to do the cleaning. Whereas I don't. And that would help me a lot, I think, if I could get that. But you know what? Nobody wants to work. I've told you that before. I'm saying it one more time. Can't find anybody that wants to work. I even posted it on Facebook. I got no response. None. Well, I got a couple of different people, but they didn't respond. Somebody responded for them and asked them could they do it, and then they never responded. So I'm like, okay. Nobody wants to help clean my house, then I guess I'll have to do it myself. And cough the whole time. Alright, we need more paper on here. I just wanted to make sure that what I was thinking was right since I was chatting. But that's the way it goes, I guess. It's just frustrating when you can't get people to do. And the thing of it is, our insurance company is going to pay for it, for somebody to come out and clean, because they know what a mess that we've been in. And they said, yes, we'll definitely pay for it. Just get somebody out and get them to clean everything, and even your furniture and everything before you put it back in. That way, it'll all be dust free and, you know, at least for a while. Well, getting somebody to do it. It's another story. We actually have the ductwork people that are, Duct Doctor is their name. They're supposed to come out, I think it's tomorrow. They'll be coming out and cleaning the remaining ductwork since all of the sanding and everything is finished now. So they'll be coming out and doing that. But I still need some cleaners that can do some professional cleaning. I tell you, I hope nothing like this ever happens again. And ever happens to any of you guys. And I know a lot of you have shared with me that you've had the same thing happen to you. It is so frustrating. You know, years ago, you didn't have any trouble getting people to work because you could just, if they found out that you needed something, they'd be on the phone calling you saying, yeah, we can come out and do the job for you, because people wanted the money. Now, no, I don't think anybody wants the money. If they do, they surprise me. Now, I know this is supposed to run up and down like this, but I'm going to run it this way on the back. And I'm not covering this little middle part where the seam is. And let's see. Make sure we know where it is exactly. I think I can fold this now. Maybe. Maybe it's dry enough. Oh, that made it nice and strong. Let me get that folded. I want to fold it easy because I don't want it to crack. So, just going to fold and work it in a little bit. There we go. Yeah, bet we got that. So, if any of you watch me local and you know of a nice cleaning service that can do some cleaning work for us, then let me know. Okay, this one's not quite long enough, so I'm actually going to go to another page. I've got plenty of paper in this pad. And I suppose every one of you saw my daughter, my sweet, loving little daughter, Melina, where she posted yesterday. I'm really, really bad about, I don't watch a lot of YouTube or anything because I don't have time. But yesterday afternoon, I was sitting and I was just resting a minute, and I thought, well, I'm going to check out some recipes because I like to look at the recipes and how they make them and all of that. So I was checking out a recipe, I don't know what site it was. It was just, Alicia called it a reel. I'm not too familiar with reels, but I know what they are. But anyway, she said I went ahead and I saw one that I liked, so I shared it. That just tickled her and Melina to death because their mother had shared a recipe, which I don't listen to the music on these things now. I don't listen to the music. I'm bad about watching them, and I turned the sound off. Well, guess what? Mother shared one that had Snoop Dogg singing in the background. Well, I say yelling in the background. Oh my goodness, my girls. I thought they was going to lay an egg. They cackled so much last night at me. Alicia called me, she FaceTimed me, and she said, Mom? I said, yeah. She said, did you share a reel today? And at first I didn't know what she was talking about. She said reel. And I said, huh? Because, I mean, I just call them videos. I said, what? And she said, did you share a reel today? And I said, well, I shared a little video about cooking a taco something or other. And she said, yeah. She said, did you listen to the video? I said, I never listen to those things. I just watch them and write down what the ingredients and that kind of thing. And then I go on. And I said, I shared it, not to share it on Facebook because I like to share stuff, but I shared it because I wanted to make sure that I could find it again. And I said, I didn't know how to save a reel. I don't even know if you can. So she said, Mother, that has Snoop Dogg on it, and he's singing and saying ugly stuff and all this stuff. Oh, me. I said, oh, my goodness, let me go take it down real quick. So I went over and was taking it down. Well, while I was taking it down, she had to call Melina because they have to, share in all of Mother's failures. So she called her sister and she was like, ha 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 ha, guess what Mama did? Guess what Mama did? And she was telling Melina what I done. And Brandon said that those two girls was laughing so hard that they couldn't even get their breath. He said, I thought Melina was going to fall out of her seat. She was laughing so hard. And Alicia was about as bad on the other end of the phone. They was FaceTiming. So then, of course, my daughter, Melina, who shares everything on Facebook, she had to go share it on Facebook, what I had done. Of course, everybody got a good laugh out of it. And I said, you know what? I don't care. I don't care if you shared it with the world. I'd rather somebody laugh at me as not laugh at all. So if they want to laugh at me, that's fine. But she has a picture on that Facebook post, and you guys will have to go check it out if you haven't seen it. She has a picture on that Facebook post of Alicia just dying laughing on the other end of the phone. I said, y'all get entertainment out of the least little things. But I said, that's okay. Mother still knows she can make you laugh. So, if you have not checked out Melina's post by now, which most of you have because most of you have commented, you'll have to go to Facebook and check it out. And they kept sending me text, one right after the other, with different little sayings and things. Like, some of his words in there was, I like it hot, hot, or something like that. So they was sending me little texts going, you like it hot, hot. Oh, me. I'm going to get tickled again if I don't stop. So laugh with me. Laugh at me, laugh with me. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. I'm not a sensitive person when it comes to that kind of thing. Now, on the other hand, my hubby, he got a little bit beside himself over it. He said, I can't believe she shared that about you. I said, what? It's not, what's the big deal? Doesn't matter to me. He was afraid, I guess, that it was going to upset me. I said, it doesn't bother me. Don't worry about it. I said, people are laughing over it. That does not bother me. It really makes me happy that people can laugh at me or with me. I don't care. Laugh at me if you want to. I feel if you're too sensitive that things like that hurts your feelings, then there's a problem somewhere. That does not hurt my feelings at all. Really, I think it's funny too. So that's the story of the day. Now you see, I cut this one a little bit larger, so I'm covering the back or reinforcing that little back edge all the way around while I'm going. My desk is a mess. It's a hot mess. Okay. So I reinforced that. That's going to be the back. Then we can just put paper here. Cute. This is going to be cute. Oh, look. That sunflower shows through there. Isn't that pretty? Oh. You know what? I may use one of those sunflowers on my tag. So when I put my little pocket in here, I can put one of those sunflowers on the tag. Cute. I like that. Now, let's see. Let's go ahead and cover the back piece. And then we'll be ready to put our pocket on and kind of go from there. We'll be almost finished with this. And I think I'm just going to go on around with this. This is the right size. So I'm not going to have to do but a little bit of cutting across here. Make sure I stay away from my seam there. I call that a seam. It's actually a little fold. I think I may want to tear that off a little bit more on the edge there. Just don't want to get close to that fold. There we go. Yeah, that will work right there. Make sure that I'm putting it the right way up. This is the top, this is the bottom. Yep. So, let me know in the comments some funnies that's happened to you. Surely I am not the only one in the world that has posted one of those things and not listened to the words of it. Just posted it anyway. Which, it didn't have any words, it just had him singing, and I told Brandon this morning, I said, what in the world did that song have to do with that taco mix? He said nothing. I don't know why they had that song on there. Said I think it was just a way for Snoop Dogg to get his song out there somewhere. So then my friend, I have to tell you this, my friend that lives in Scottsboro, she sent me, she knows I'm a big Elvis fan, so she sent me a text and she said, here is a, she said real in quotation marks, that I think you'll like much better than Snoop Dogg. And it was Elvis singing Love Me Tender. So yes, I said yes, I like that much better. Not even any competition. Oh, she had to join in the fun. Okay. So that is down. So there is our journal cover. Basically finished other than putting our pocket on. Now, I am going to stitch around mine. That's not anything that you have to do. This is made. You can go from here and put everything together and you've got your journal. But I want to stitch around mine. I like the look. And to me, it just kind of finishes off all the edges. So I'm going to run to my sewing machine and stitch real quick. I'll come back and we'll put this pocket on. And then we will look and see if we can find papers to put in here. And we'll make our little journal. Make it real quick. Alright, so it has actually been a minute. I did stitch this, and then I had a repair guy come in that was repairing something that they messed up. So it has been a little while. But we went ahead and stitched this, and I went ahead and stitched around my window. I just thought I liked that look. But it feels so much more secure now that it's stitched. But like I said, that's not something you have to do, so don't worry about that. Now, what I'm going to use, the collection that I'm going to use to go in this, is Betty's Sunflower and Ledger collection. I will link you directly to this collection over in her Etsy store. And then the embellishments that I'm going to use to go with it is actually freebies that we put up in the store or on my blog last year. And these, if I can find them, I should be able to find them again. I will link them. These were all freebies. Anyone that you see that has this little blue on here was a freebie. So there was tons of them that she sent us last year, and we were able to give them away to you guys. So we are going to use some of these freebies too. So it was a lot of them, but I will link them for you. Now, and I'm also going to use maybe a couple of pieces of this paper. This is Handmade Paper, and I got it off of Amazon, and if I can remember, I will link that below as well. Now, I printed on both sides of these. This is not Betty's print on the back side. It's actually, I don't know, somebody's that I got a long time ago. And any of them that are good for backing, I just save them in a little file. And then when I get ready to do my prints and everything, I always have something to print on the back of them. So you'll notice that each one of these is probably a little different on the back, and that's what I like. Let's see. And I'm not going to make this real full, but I am going to put a few more pages in. Let me grab. I want to put that one in it because it's yellow. And let's see. I think for the other ones, I'll just use some plain copy dyed paper. So I'm not going to fill it real full, but I do want something like this between most of my pages. I don't like to put the digitals back to back. You can, and a lot of people do. It's just me. I like to put a little bit of something between them. Number one, it saves your digitals, and then two, it gives you lots of writing space and lots of things that you can make pockets on and that kind of thing. Now, I'm not sure where I got this yellow paper. I do know that Triple V Vintage makes some paper with doilies on it, but I'm not sure that this came from her. This might have come from somebody else. And I'm not putting these in any particular order. They all look pretty to me, so I'll probably just leave them like they are. Put that one there, maybe. That looks like a good order to me. Did I put two there? Nope, I didn't. And then sometimes I'll put a book page or a music page or something between my digitals and the others, but it just depends on what I'm feeling like right then and how much I want to dig. Sometimes I'll dig through a lot of things, and sometimes I won't. Now, I want to decide which one of these I want in the middle. I'm thinking that's going to be my middle right there, so we're good. Alright, I may not have, let's see, I'll put that one there. And then I may not have anything between these, and that'll be okay if I don't. Alright, for my middle one, I want it to fold the opposite direction, because I want this part to show for the middle. Now, these are way too long, yes, but what I'll do is I'll fold them in and make side tuck pockets out of them. This handmade paper is actually, I think, 12 or 14 long and 8.5 tall. I think that's right, but I'll link it in case you want to look it up. I'm going to go ahead and fold these just so I can get a look at what everything's looking like. And I'm just going to fold a little bitty bit over, just enough to make a little side tuck. And this one will fold over the other way. That'll work right there. Okay. So that is what that's going to look like. I like that. I don't mind that. That'll sit in there. And that won't show through that pocket. Remember, we're putting a pocket on there. But I wanted this to be my first page because I like that. Like how that looks. And you know I love ledger and I love sunflowers, so I got the best of both worlds here. Alright, I just want to make sure that it's not going to stick out. Now, if you thought it was going to stick out right here, if your envelope is a little bit shorter than mine, you can trim these off. I think mine, let's see, it should be okay. Go ahead and press it down real good in the middle. Yeah, I've got about 1/4 of an inch or 3/8 of an inch on top and bottom once it gets stitched in, so I think we're good there. Even if we pack it full, we're still good. Okay. Now guess what we can do? We can stitch this in already. If you decorate your pages first, then go ahead and decorate your pages. If not, then you're ready to stitch this in. And I want to go ahead and stitch mine in. I like to decorate after I stitch them in, mainly because I don't have so much bulk to work with. When I stitch them, when I decorate them first and put all kinds of decorations on them, and then I try to stitch them in, I have tons of bulk to work with, and I'm not good with that. So, okay. This is our journal binding tool that we developed, and all you have to do is put your little journal down in there, make sure it's pressed down really good in the middle. I clip mine too normally. You don't have to. You can just clip your journal together. Grab your little pokey tool, and then if you'll notice, and I know most of you know this, but we have a lot of new people, so I just wanted to go over it. There's little holes here in the center at 2.5 and at 3. Center, 2.5 and 3 on this end. Now I like to poke mine in the center and at 3 inches. Center and 3 inches. But we put the 2.5 in there. Some people like to poke at 2.5. So it doesn't matter. And if this is not good enough for you, if you want to put a 5-hole pamphlet stitch, all you have to do is mark where your 5 holes are going to be, and then just slide your journal back and forth to match up with the holes. It's not a big deal. I have bound every kind of journal in this. And see, my little tool comes all the way through there. So you can press it as hard or as light as you want. And all I do is just kind of eyeball lining it up. It doesn't have to be perfect. Poke my holes. Alright, and then I'm just going to clip this. It's just so much easier to get it all the way down in there when you have something like this to hold it tight. Okay, I'm just going to make sure. I think I did. Just wanted to flip through and make sure I put all of my pages the right way up. And then I'm just going to use some of this tan string that we have. This is waxed thread. I like to bind my journals with waxed thread. So I'm going to go through the middle hole. I'm doing a 3-hole pamphlet. You can do 5-hole if you want. Just punch a couple more holes. And then down through there. See how easy the poking goes when you've got it all together like it needs to be. Okay. And then that will come out. Now, on this outside, you'll see I poked really hard just to show you that I was poking, but you've got that little bit sticking up there. You can take your little tool here, bone folder, press those back in, and then you can put a little ink over them. Now this is if you're not going to cover it with something. I'm going to cover mine with fabric or lace anyway, so it doesn't matter. But once you do that, you don't see those holes. Ink will cover up just about anything. Okay, I pull it one way, then the other. Make sure that this thread right here is nice and tight, and that these strings are on either side of that thread before you tie your knot. Okay, I like to tie a square knot. Holds better, but tie whatever knot you're comfortable with. And there is our journal bound. Oh, I like that. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put this pocket in. I'm going to press on. Now, this will lay down flatter once you open it and close it a few times, but that doesn't bother me right now. Just take my little... This is a book weight, and I'll make sure that I link that below as well. Edith, you got a lot of linking to do, so you better get it, girl. All right, now this we're going to put down right here. Okay, and that's going to hold a tall tag. Oh, wait, before we do, we need to put something in. No. All right, so I'm going to put my glue down this little side right here. Now, you guys have seen me make these pockets before that the edges fold up. It just makes a nicer pocket that you have a little bit more room in. The flat pockets are okay, but you usually don't have a lot of room in there. This one you can put a nice thick tag that's decorated up, and it won't almost break your pocket open. Now, I'm going to lay this down easy. Then I'm going to go to the front and just kind of make sure that I don't have anything showing around there. Let's see. Okay, it needs to move over this way a little bit. Since it doesn't glue up here at the top real quick, we got a little bit of wiggle room. And the reason it doesn't is because of that plastic underneath. There we go. Let's put it down. Alright, just run your bone folder on that real well. Looks like it's pretty straight. Straight enough for me. Okay. And there we go. So then we have that. Now we will make a nice tag to go in here that has a really pretty sunflower on it. On one of these freebies, you have some sunflowers, some butterflies, so that'd be good to make a tag out of. But let's see if I can, let's just grab this and I'll stick it down in there and show you what it'll look like. I don't have my tag made right now, so let's just see if that'll fit. This is a pocket actually, not a tag, but we're gonna see if it'll work. Just so that you can get a look. Oh, look at that. We might actually print another one of those and cut that out. I like that, and put that on the front of a tag. I might do that. I'll print another one and cut this out and put it on the front of our tag. So that's basically what it'll look like when we get our tag in there. Then when you pull the tag out, you'll see this, but I don't mind that. That's okay, because most of the time your tag's going to be in there. So we'll put some charms here. Now in the back, I thought I would put a pocket across here. That's why I turned that and put it at the top, because I wanted a pocket here. Now I'm just going to measure and see how much room I have here. And so you can see that fabric sticking out, and I like that. That don't bother me. So this is 5.5. Now I want to make a little fold pocket. So we're going to add an inch onto that. So we're going to cut this 6.5 wide. And then let's cut it at 4.5 tall. And I'm just adding a 1/2 inch to the height because we're not going to do anything we're not going to do a fold at the top. So 6.5 by 4.5. That's what we're going to cut this little piece. Okay, now let's get this. All right, the 6.5, we're going to score at 1/2 inch on either end. And then we're going to turn it to the bottom. This is the bottom, this is the top. And we're going to score it at 4 because I cut it 4.5. So now you have this little pocket. And I know a lot of you say, well, I put that side on. I love that side, but I wanted something a little bit more plain at the bottom since I have all of those flowers at the top. Now, you're just going to cut out your little corners, and I cut them out at a little bit of a curve. And then I burnished them real well. I got reinforcing on my mind. Okay. Then I'll go ahead and I trim off a little bit up here at the top, too. That just gives the tag a little bit extra room going in there, and it doesn't catch on everything. So that's the way that's going to go together, like that. Then all we have to do Just put that down right there. Matches perfect. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my little 2-inch oval. Bunch of little hole or a pull in this, not a hole. So then we're going to put that down just like that. See, you're going to have extra room. I'll show you what a difference it makes to fold your pockets over like this versus putting them down just flat. Okay. Now, I'm not going to pull real hard because the glue's still drying, but see how much room you'll have in that pocket. So you can put a tag in there that actually had some embellishing on it. If that pocket was flat, you wouldn't be able to do that. Now I want a little something on the front. So these collections go perfect together. Our freebie and then what she made. And I'm sure she made them probably at the same time. That's usually what she does. When she gives us some freebies, then she makes a digital so that you can have more papers to go with it if you want to purchase those. Oh, you know, number 8. You knew I would choose that one, didn't you? Number 23 was my daughter's number in all softball that she played, so I know Betty knew that. Now, it'll take me just a second to cut this out because it is scalloped, so I will either fast forward this or just come back when I have it cut out. I got it all the way around and looked away and cut the bottom on that, but I'm not going to worry about it. Remember, we don't worry about things. We're going to put it down and I'll just glue that bottom and nobody will ever know. At least I didn't cut it all the way off. Don't look away when you're fussy cutting. That's the moral of this story. Now, I do need something else on there. Okay, since we're working with ledger paper, I think I will tear a piece of this off. And I think this collection, this is called French Ephemera Collage, and it doesn't have a name on it. But I think this is from ePaperie. If I'm wrong, somebody let me know in the comments. But I think that is from ePaperie. Yeah, I don't mind that. There's my number on there. I don't think anybody will notice that I cut that. Cute. Alright, I'd like that. I like that pocket. Then we can put some tags in that pocket. Alright, that's all I think I'm going to do today, just because this video is probably extra long. And I have one more contractor on the way. So I'm going to have to stop right here. But we'll come back tomorrow and I'll have all the embellishments cut out. We'll embellish. We will add lace. We will add a tag that has a pretty on it. And I may add some more lace, you know, somewhere on here. We'll make some clusters, that kind of thing. I'll do a little bit of a different twist on a pocket that I have in mind. So make sure that you come back for that. Alright guys, that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We have a $600 giveaway coming up very soon, and all you have to be to enter is be a subscriber. We'll talk to you guys later. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.